Rep. Jim Jordan is after the FBI for possibly spying on the Catholic Church. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm so glad you guys are here. Here's Rep. Jim Jordan on Twitter. We now know the FBI, relying on information derived from at least one undercover employee, sought to use local religious organizations as new avenue for tripwire and source development. Chilling, he tweeted. This is crazy, not a surprise, because this administration and the unelected FBI are vampires. Here's the official government document just so you can see what it looks like. Congress of the United States, House of Representatives, dated April 10th, to the Honorable Christopher A. Wray, Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This is from Jim Jordan. The Committee on the Judiciary is conducting oversight of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, handling of domestic violent extremism investigations against the Catholic Americans and its effect on protected First Amendment activity. And this is why it's a near miracle that McCarthy won to be able to put these assignments in these committees and balance out the draconian, totalitarian overreach of the octopus Biden administration. Based on the limited information produced by the FBI to the committee, we now know that the FBI relied on at least one undercover agent to produce its analysis, and that the FBI proposed that its agents engage in outreach to Catholic parishes to develop sources among the clergy and church leadership to inform on Americans practicing their faith. This is straight out of Soviet Russia. This is exactly, literally what the Russian KGB did. They would go into churches and they met with certain people. They had their informants, and and suddenly you're going to go to a confessional to a priest and he's an informant to the FBI if he thinks that you're extreme. We already know what the definition of FBI's, their definition of extremism. It's supporting Donald Trump. This shocking information reinforces our need for all responsive documents, and the committee is using a subpoena to you to compel your full cooperation. They had barely allowed documents out to Jim Jordan, and a ton of stuff was redacted, so now they're requesting unredacted documents. We have repeatedly sought information from the FBI relating to the January 23, 23 document generated by Richard Field Office entitled Interest of Racially or Ethnically Motivated Violent Extremists in Radical Traditionalist Catholic Ideology Almost Certainly Presents New Mitigation Opportunities. They're warning each other saying, look, we're going to be mitigated if we do this. In this document, the FBI purported to categorize Catholic Americans based on theological distinctions and relied on the Southern Poverty Law Center, corrupt, to suggest that certain kinds of Catholic Americans may be domestic terrorists. Look, the Southern Poverty Law Center, these are black churches. And this is one congregation, one denomination using the government to point it and weaponize it against another congregation. This happened in Russia, in Soviet Russia. Sometimes you'd rat a neighbor out just because you didn't like him and you wanted his house. So you'd go, I think he might have been against the state. And they'd go and lock him up, throw him in a gulag, and you get his house. That's the Southern Poverty Law Center. That's why you do not want the FBI involved in churches or anywhere else. They did the same thing with Twitter. In this section, the document entitled Opportunities, the FBI wrote, in addition to redaction, engage in outreach to the leadership of our Society of St. Pius X chapels in the FBI Richmond area of responsibility to sensitize these congregations to the warning signs of radicalization and to enlist their assistance to serve as suspicious activity tripwires. This is what the FBI document said. Okay. That is a confession, not of a Catholic, but of the FBI, that they were looking to enlist Catholic members for their assistance to rat out fellow parishioners. And this is Jim Jordan. Americans attend church to worship and congregate for their spiritual and personal betterment. They must be free to exercise their fundamental First Amendment rights without worrying that the FBI may have planned so-called tripwire sources or other informants in their house of worship. I can't believe I'm reading this in my country. I can't believe it. What in the world happened to our country besides the FBI and the Biden administration? Accordingly, and in light of your disregard of our earlier voluntary request, please find attached a subpoena for the requested documents and information. Sincerely, Jim Jordan, you've been subpoenaed. Turn over the documents, FBI. Let's see them. Let's see what you're made of and how you hunted the Catholic Church. I'm a Protestant. I'm here to back my neighbors across the street are conservative Catholics. I hope I didn't just rat them out to the FBI. Pass this show around, guys. You got to get the word out. I'm Doug in Exile.